Have you ever heard a market that does not open with the rising sun, nor close with the setting sun, but waits only for midnight to call its buyers? They called it the market that never closes. No town carrier announced its opening, no rooster crows to welcome it. It comes silently like mist that covered the ground. The elders said it appears only when the moon hides its face behind thick cloud, and whoever dares to enter never comes out the same. In the village of Opuno, there lives a poor widow named Inka. Her husband had died young, leaving her with only one son, Obi. She struggled to farm the land, but the soil was harsh, the rains too little, and hunger clung to her household like a stubborn shadow. One night, as she sat outside her hut, tears falling onto her empty cooking pot, a strange voice whispered in her ear, "Neka, do you wish for food? Do you wish for weight? Do you wish for all your troubles to end?" Startled, she looked around, but saw no one, only the night, thick and heavy, with crickets singing. Then, from the darkness of the forest path, she saw something, a flicker of light, like a lantern, moving with no hand to carry it. And as the lantern passed, she heard it whispered again, "Come to the market that never closes." Her heart pounding, she had heard rumors of such a place where a person could buy anything: beauty, children, long lives, even the death of an enemy. But the stories always ended with warnings. The price, they said, was never in cowries, never in coins. It was always something far more precious. That night, sleep refused to touch Ineka's eyes. The whisper kept echoing, "Come to the market." The following midnight, unable to resist, she wrapped her faded cloth tightly around her shoulder and followed the path into the forest. The deeper she went, the louder the whisper became. The air grew thick, the trees bent as if bound to unseen power, and then she saw it. A market glowing in the darkness, store lined with things no human hand could sell. One store displayed a jars filled with human laughter, each cupped tight. Another sold shadows, tied up and hand like dried meat, and yet another had hearts, still beating inside clay pots. The sellers were not like ordinary traders. Some had eyes like burning coals, others had mouths but no faces, and all of them smiled when they saw her. "Welcome, Ineka," one of them hissed. "We have been waiting for you." Her knees trembled, but hunger pushed her forward. She saw a basket overflowing with yam, rice, and palm oil, enough to feed her and her son for months. "How much?" she whispered, afraid to speak too loud. The seller grinned, showing teeth as sharp as knife. "Not too much, only a piece of your shadow." Neka looked down. Her shadow lay at her feet, dark and long. Surely one small piece would do her no harm. Also, she thought. She nodded. The seller bent, cut a thin slice of her shadow, and placed it in a calabash. Instantly, the basket of food became hers. Ineka carried it home, tears of joy streaming down her face. For the first time in years, she and her son ate to their fill. But as the cock crowed her down, she noticed something strange. Her shadow was no longer complete. A small corner of it was missing, as though eaten away. And deep in the silence of her heart, she heard it whispered again, "Welcome to the market, Ineka. You will return." At first, Neka thought nothing of the missing piece of her shadow. After all, she and Obi had food, and for widow, that was miracle enough. But soon, strange things began to happen. When she walked in the sun, people noticed her shadow no longer moved naturally. It dragged behind her, slower than her step, as if it were tired. Children whispered and pointed. Old women shook their head and crossed themselves. Something about her no longer felt human. One evening, Obi sat beside her and asked softly, "Mama, why does your shadow look broken?" Ineka's heart skipped. She forced a smile and said, "It's nothing, my son. Shadows grew old too." But inside, fear ate her bones. That night, as she tried to sleep, the whispered returned, "Though sweet, dangerous. Come back, Ineka. We have more for you." wealth, beauty, long life. All you need is a little more of your shadow. She turned on her mat, covering her ears, but the voice was everywhere. By midnight, she rose again and found herself walking to the forest. The market was waiting, this time brighter, louder, with more impossible things. She saw a stall selling jars of youth, each one glowing like fireflies. Another display strange of unborn children, swinging like beads. And yet another sold time itself, bottled in hourglasses. The same faceless seller greeted her. Nneka, welcome back. What do you desire tonight? She wanted to turn back, but her eyes caught a bundle of clothes at one corner. Fine wrappers, gold necklaces, and cowries overflowing. If she had this, she could live like a queen, no longer mocked at the poor widow of Opuno. How much? She asked, her voice trembling. The seller smiled widening. Only a little more of your shadow. Her hands shook. She remembered the warning stories, the missing piece of her feet, but greed whispered louder than fear. She agreed. Once again, they sliced her shadow. This time, the pain was sharp, as if a knife had cut her very soul. She cried out, but when she looked down, the weight was hers. She carried the riches home, her eyes shining with tears of joy, but at dawn she saw it again. Her shadow was shorter, thinner, and weaker, and when she tried to sweep her compound, her broom slipped through her hands, as if her strength was living with her shadow. Days turned into weeks. Inka grew rich, dressing in fine wrappers and beads, but her shadow was now no more than a weak blow, clinching faintly to her feet. Obi noticed. One night, when she thought he was sleeping, he followed her into the forest. He saw the market with his own eyes. He saw the traders, the shadows hanging, the whispers calling. He screamed, Mama, leave this place. The sellers turned, their faces twisted into white terrible smiles. Ah! Another soul, another shadow, the market that never closes. Inka grabbed Obi's hand, running, but the market stretched endlessly. Everywhere they turned, there was more store, more sellers, more shadows. At last, they burst out of the forest, panting, drenched in sweat. But as they reached their hut, Obi looked down and gasped, Mama, your shadow is almost gone. And indeed, only a tiny broken outline remained. If she returned to the market once more, she knew her shadow would vanish forever. But the whisper was stronger now. It followed her even in daylight, coiling in her ears like smoke. Inka, you cannot resist. The market is waiting. By now, the whole village had begun to notice. Ineka's body was alive, but her shadow was fading. The elders gathered in the square and whispered, a woman without a shadow is not truly among the living. But Inka did not listen. Each night, the voice grew louder. Each night, the pull of the market grew stronger. Obi begged her, Mama, please, do not go back. They want to take you away from me. She nodded, promising him she will not return. But when midnight came, her feet betrayed her. They moved on their own, carrying her into the forest. And there it was, the market, brighter than ever. Shadows floated in the air like bats tied with ropes, crying in silence. The faceless seller waited, smiling. Ah, Inka, we knew you would come. Tonight you shall have all that your heart desire, beauty, wealth, and power. You will never hunger again. Only one last prize, the rest of your shadow. Her body trembled. Her mind screamed no, but her heart beat with greed. Behind her, Obi appeared, running tears streaming down his face. Mama, please. If you give them the rest, you will vanish. The traders laughed. One hissed, he is right. Without a shadow, he will vanish forever. Another added, but you will leave your wealth behind. Your son will inherit everything, and your shadow will belong to us forever. Inka looked at her boy. His eyes were wide, desperate, filled with love. She thought of the future, of his suffering, of the hunger that had tormented them. Slowly, with shaking hands, she turned back to the seller. Take it, she whispered. Take the rest of my shadow. The seller bent low, and with a blade of fire, caught the last thread of her shadow. Inka gasped as her body grew weightless. Her hand turned pale. Her voice broke into a whisper. She was fading. Obi screamed, clutching her arms. Mama, no. Don't leave me. She smiled weakly, her voice barely there. My son, remember this, never enter the market that never closes. And then she was gone. Her body dissolved like mist. Only the echoes of her voice remained. Obi fell to his knees, clutching the empty ground where his mother had stood. The traders laughed, their voices like thunder, but just as they turned to leave, lightning split the sky. A loud roar of the earth followed. The market trembled, the store shook, the shadows screamed. For it is said that when a soul trades everything, the gods themselves take notice. And that night, the gods were angry. The market vanished in a flash of fire, swallowing its traders and soared into the ground. The forest fell silent once more. When Obi opened his eyes, he was alone. The market was gone. But on the ground beside him lay a single clay pot. He picked it up and saw inside was his mother's shadow, swelling faintly like smoke. From that day, Obi lived with the cause. No matter where he went, no matter how far he traveled, the clay pot followed him. At night, he would hear her voice whisper, "Do not forget my son, the market that never closes." The end. Thank you for watching. Please like, follow, and comment for more stories. See you in my next stories. Bye.